Hey everybody, this is Movie versus Prequel, episode 18, I believe. I'm always questioning.
Either 17 or 18.
I feel like we should look that up at least one of these times.
I think I'm always questioning the.
We get close to 25.
I'm always questioning the episode number, but I'm pretty sure I'm always right. And either way, who knows? I'll probably be wrong this time.
Welcome to episode 2.
I am Tyler Lamb. I'm the host. I am joined by Steve Janik, my co-host. How is it going, Steve?
Pretty awesome. I have the entire week off school, except I will be studying for the majority of it. But either way, it's nice to have a break.
There you go.
But you know what you can do while you're
situation?
Studying? Not really study, and it's awesome.
And that great sage advice is from my other co-host, Charlie Pixley. What's up, Chuck?
Yo.
This prequel episode is going to be Steve picking the movies for Charlie and me to watch to convince him. And we are going back to our classic format for this episode. We are going to be drawing movies out of a hat.
I will say I tried to make this a Thanksgiving themed episode, but typing Thanksgiving into Netflix resulted in
autocorrected to Thanksgiving.
Exclusively Christmas films.
It's a did you mean Christmas?
Did you mean keywords thanks and giving?
I was like, come on, like Thanksgiving movies.
We recommend
first
Fast and Furious 1 through 7.
First.
Did you mean family?
First one
and
Frosty
Corona.
the
So Steve has a pile.
Yes, I did.
Steve has a pile of
Shit.
shit. No, yeah, and next
some
to
of the
that,
classically scrawled Charlie.
yeah, next to that pile of shit, he has a paper
I
pile
printed those straight from Fandango.
that Charlie wrote the names of the movies down. Steve will read the movies before
and
he throws them
put them in the hat that I'm holding for no apparent reason.
The hat,
to be completely honest.
and then he will mix it up, and Charlie and I will draw from the hat. Or wait. Is it?
No, Steve draws.
Steve draws,
I draw and
and
then
he
As we do now, he
assigns.
can draw 4, right? And then he does
Oh,
two
is that what
for
we're gonna
one
do?
versus 2 for another, and then he gets pick.
Okay,
each.
we're gonna do that.
I thought we've done that before.
I don't know. We can do it now. Like,
I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, let's go for it. That's
Alright.
that's yeah. The more options, more fun.
Okay, let's hear
But
what
I
these,
always say,
let's hear
So,
what these
before
movies
I
are.
light into this, before I actually start saying
Mm-hmm.
these titles, do you want to explain how the podcast works again?
I mean, I don't really want to, but I guess I will since
Nah,
you're just
Because I
strong-arming
feel
me.
like I feel like I don't want to get halfway through this title and then you'd be like, oh, for those of you who are just joining
This
us.
is a Thanksgiving episode, so fuck them.
This episode comes out on Thanksgiving Day, and this is a prequel episode. Basically, on this podcast, we two people are assigned bad movies, and they try to convince the third party that their specific movie is the better movie. And so basically, it's the podcast in defense of bad movies. We try to make bad movies sound good. Is that satisfying?
less
I mean,
worse.
which is exactly what happened when the Pilgrims got off the Mayflower.
They
Yeah.
tried to make all those movies sound
So good, and then
They're like, listen,
and
Native
then
Americans,
and they were
They
we
did a
swear.
damn good job selling some
And-
blankets.
and the Native Americans
And smallpox.
the Native Americans were so impressed by how good the movie sounded, they gave them food, and that's how the first Thanksgiving.
It
the
was
first Thanksgiving-
amazing.
Boo.
We're already done with
I would-
Halloween.
I would like to make a note to all children listening.
we-
do not use any of this information in school?
Can we make a vote to vote Charlie off of the podcast for these?
If anyone's getting voted off, it's you.
on all
my
on,
God,
on all holiday themed episodes. By
Anyway,
themed, I mean we mentioned that it was Thanksgiving.
Steve, what are these movies?
All right, the first one is Shut In. A funnier title isn't necessary.
That is what's written on the paper.
that is on the marquee.
I'm pretty
It's
amazed.
a long marquee.
I'm pretty amazed that they actually are calling the movie "Shut In."
It's almost a call to not action. It's
Well,
like,
and
just-
also
just
that
stay.
term usually isn't used that much anymore. That's like if you just call the movie like "Cripple."
Yeah, it's It's like a real
Oh, is
non-used term anymore.
Yes. Like, oh yeah.
Well,
just a
shut-in
fucking
is kind
shut-in.
yeah. That's like a real. It's kind of derogatory.
That's why when I read it, Steve's like, yeah, it's about a kid in a wheelchair. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually named it. that.
Wait, oh man, it's like Disturbia 2.0.
Yeah.
Which is already
Yeah,
Rear
thank you.
Window
Yeah,
2.0.
Okay, good.
I thought Disturbia 2.0 was Battleship.
God, I hope so. Okay, the next.
That's a real reaching Rihanna joke for the song Disturbia and the movie Disturbia, and then Rihanna being in Battleship.
I'm glad you
Speaking of-
explained that for all of the listeners that had no idea what you were talking about.
Not
Speaking
Timmy will get
of
it.
reaching, the next one
Oh,
is
Christina Ricci?
I can already see which one that is. You're in for a ride then.
Jack Reacher. Never go back to see a Jack Reacher movie again.
Hey, hold on. The first Jack Reacher movie was pretty good.
Was
But
it?
we don't know about this one.
It was. I'm
No
not gonna.
one-
Hey,
no
we
one
don't
I
know about
could've
this one
told.
though.
I watched the first Jack Reacher movie on a flight to Chicago, not Chicago, California. Like on my
so
laptop.
the only time you were watching it was when you could not get away from it.
No, I had my computer and I was like, I'll watch this Jack Reacher movie, and I watched it and I was like I was very surprised. And
Yeah.
at one point, this guy behind me kind of like tapped my arm, and I was like, I had headphones on and everything, and I just feel like it tapped my arm. I'm like, I pause the movie, and I turn around, and this guy's like, hey, is that Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise? And I was like,
You just go, no.
no, I was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, yeah, man, that movie's pretty good. And he's like leaning over in his
A more
into
ringing
the aisle.
endorsement was never heard.
He's like leaning over into the aisle, like watching the movie over my shoulder. Like, oh man, this is great even without sound.
And who was that man?
Albert Einstein.
No, it was Tom Cruise.
It was Tom Cruise. He then handed me a pamphlet about Scientology. He was like, hey, if you're ever bored.
That's bullshit that he'd be
And,
able to see over that
and we
scene.
are back off the air
Yeah.
because another Scientology joke.
So the next movie, I almost misread this one.
Yeah.
This one is Ass Countant. Money does sleep around. Which is
that's the side quill to not Wolf of Wall Street, Wall Street, right?
Wall Street,
Wall
too.
Street money never sleeps.
And that's actually the prequel to Ben Affleck's character in Good Will Hunting, right? That's
Yeah.
before he decides
Loses it all.
Yeah, exactly, and works on the construction, whatever the fuck. he does in the movie.
The next one is Almost Christmas, a too old for this shit Monique cinema event.
Oh boy, we saw the trailer for that before we saw Medea, and
Boo, very Medea.
I feel like it's so.
I like that it's not even a movie that's even close to referencing Lethal Weapon. And Danny Glover was like, I'm too old for this shit. And we're like, acting? Yes, please leave.
What's funny is that the I'm too old for this shit is such a like cliche trope now that it is almost in just any scenario where an older person has to deal with something, he says, I'm
Like
too old for
living?
this shit.
He just wakes up and says that. Just
I'm too old.
for this shit. Just closes his eyes.
Dracula
He
sleep.
goes
I-
to that
I hope
sweet
he-
abyss.
I hope he's wearing the girdle that he wore in Lethal Weapon 4.
I'm sure he's never taken it off.
Because he can't.
He works pretty
He's
well.
physically unable to remove it from himself now. All right, the next one, Inferno. Age of the Dawn of the Da Vinci Code, Rising Redux.
Isn't Inferno like there's actually a book before Inferno between Da Vinci Code and that, and they didn't make that.
No.
They
there
did,
they
Angels and Demons.
Angels and
was
Demons was before Da Vinci
Dude,
Code.
I don't know. I just
No,
know
Da
there are
Vinci
3
Code was
movies.
the first one.
No.
Da Vinci Code's first movie.
duh.
Angels and Demons was the first book, though.
Yes, correct.
Really?
Da Vinci Code. I'm looking this shit up. I know that there is a book between.
It's actually a
Da Vinci
graphic novel.
Yeah. No. Okay.
It's a web comic.
So it goes. The series.
XKCD.
The
Da
series.
Vinci Code.
There is one of those for everything.
The Dan Brown series following Robert Langdon, which is Tom Hanks, goes Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code, The Lost Symbol, and then Inferno. They just skipped The Lost Symbol and made an Inferno movie.
Or maybe they're combined.
Maybe
Who
they had
knows?
already found it.
They already fought. They're like, you know what? I mean, we got the symbol. Let's just move on. God damn it.
And the final.
Hold on.
Okay,
I just found out that
yeah,
the
that's fine.
final book.
Why
in
would
this,
this cast ever be different from any of the others?
the final book in the Dan Brown Robert Langdon series is called Origin.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say too old for this shit, and we'd really just bring it all together.
The final book is called Origin.
Orange.
Continue, Steve.
Okay, the last one is Billy Lynn Cyrus. Long halftime walk of shame. My achy breaky morals edition.
I mean, that's about as long as the
Wow.
real title.
I put the apostrophe after that, so it's Billy Lynn Cyrus's long half
Oh,
walk of
I'm
shame.
sorry. I know.
My achy breaky morals edition.
You
Well, wait,
scratched some
that's-
things out, and I thought it was part of
yeah.
the
That's
scratch.
actually
understand.
shorter than the real title of the movie, isn't it?
but not shorter than the walk, because it is so long, according to the title of the film.
All right,
And
Steve.
embarrassing.
The long embarrassing walk of yeah.
All right.
Steve is shaking those bad boys up in the Cardinals Blues
Now, wait.
commemorative hat.
So
that,
pick two out, and then that'll be for one of us, and then pick two more, and that's for the other. Then pick from those two of each. Don't just pick four and then.
Assign them.
Aside the
yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay, so
That adds a little more to
should
it.
I read the two that you're getting?
No.
No.
Just pull the two.
these
Check those
two-
Should
out.
we have the option to switch or no?
I think it's up to the game master.
I'll say you can switch,
Game
but you
master.
will not know what you're passing to.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I like
These
that.
these.
Steve
let
has
me
drawn.
read it.
Steve has drawn all four.
Let me read through.
He's looking
titles real
over the choices.
Game
He's-
master.
He's reading the choices of mine.
So-
He put those to the side. He's now picking
This
up.
is not interesting enough for you to be giving a play-by-play.
Well, it's either that or just silence. Wow.
You guys
could
are
be this.
still free to talk.
So Charlie,
I hope
again,
you're
how's
enjoying your Thanksgiving dinner.
yeah? I hope instead of just talking to your family,
You got
you're
your earbuds
listening.
in?
You
Do
got
the-
your earbuds in, listening to this podcast.
Do the middle school earbuds down one arm of your dress clothes.
Yeah.
and put it up
Exactly.
against your ear.
Exactly. Just,
Okay.
just like, oh god.
So I have it all figured out,
Good
and
thing this
I
isn't
feel
the
like
Mickey Rooney episode, or I'd be getting sick right now.
I'd be getting aroused right now.
I feel like there's gonna be no passing because this is gonna be such a perfect matchup.
Okay, all right. Let's hear it, Steve.
So-
Hand it over to me. Let's give the old hand over. Hand
You
it
go
over.
for you. Go ahead and
You want-
react to yours. Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. Do you want me to
Sure.
read mine out loud?
Please.
I have Jack Reacher never go back to seeing a Jack Reacher movie ever again,
Okay.
and
Here's
I am
Charlie's.
not upset about that.
I have. Shut in. A funnier title isn't necessary.
Oh, shut in the Jack Reacher never go back.
I feel like they're both gonna be a little tense.
I'm actually. I
feel like the matchup gets significantly worse if either of you pass.
So can Charlie pass without me passing?
Yes, because since these movies aren't linked together by me
Yeah.
actually going through it, I feel like if Charlie does want to pass, completely reasonable.
All right. Well, I'm going to lock in on Jack Reacher too.
Okay. Do you, while Charlie decides, I will read what you passed on.
What did I pass on? Steve?
You
That
passed
determines
on
whether I pass or not.
ass counting money does sleep around. So that gives Charlie a little bit of information. He cannot receive ass
Sure, he
counting.
could have that.
Ass
Danny.
counting.
He could have that Danny Glover movie. Danny?
That's the one I want the most. And this is the one I wanted the second most. So it's like it's a real risk if I go to
No,
switch.
you have a 1 in 3 chance of
But
it.
I also think that what is it called? The Almost Christmas is a weak contender against the fucking Jack
I do
Reacher
too.
movie by far.
I feel
Whereas
like-
this has a better shot.
Yeah, I feel like the intensity
it's
of
gonna
both
be-
of these movies actually make it a reasonable match. Like we
I hope I
lucked
can
into a
find
reasonable
this
matchup.
one. It should be in a decent amount of theaters. Shut in.
Either that, I'm sure you can get a torrent.
Yeah.
I think it's not gonna be.
I
I mean,
wish-
no,
I'll
you
keep,
could find
I'll
a
keep shut in.
legal.
I'll keep shut in.
Okay.
Shut in? What did
Well,
he pass on?
What you passed on, and you probably would not enjoy it.
Billy
You
Lynn
passed on
Cyrus's?
Billy Lynn
Oh,
Cyrus.
thank
Oh
God.
yeah, I'm glad.
I was like,
I'm glad that you.
don't pass, don't
yeah,
pass.
I'm really glad you didn't pass on that then, because that would have been a Probably an uninteresting episode.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a nice movie recounting a guy's.
Steve, you don't have to be nice.
No, like I'm sure, but like just
he's
because,
not listening to the
no,
podcast.
just because people are really excited about it because it's like a patriotic movie, and that's fine. But that just because it's patriotic doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah,
is all I'm saying. Like
all I'm saying is I've never heard anybody mention this movie ever.
I've seen some trailers.
I looked up movie times today, and that was the first time I had seen it. Was like the little movie poster on Fandango. It's like, what the fuck is that?
It's a dumb title,
and it wasn't. And it wasn't even intriguing enough. I said, "What the fuck is that?" And then I just kept scrolling.
I saw the trailer, and they did a pretty bad job of
in general.
The trailer just made me not interested in seeing. Like it just.
I mean,
it didn't tell me anything.
Yeah,
it's sad because that title alone is uninteresting. Like that title is so. It's like, well, this does not sound like a thought out movie. You made this title long enough that it's like, let's just.
Yeah. Like I got disinterested halfway through listening.
Reading,
to the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, maybe it's a child soldier from the Congo, and then the movie ends with him being the child in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh shit, that'd be
and
amazing.
The final scene is Bane blowing up the football stadium.
That's the final scene.
Well, yeah,
that would be.
I'm in.
To be fair, that was a quick halftime walk because if it wasn't, then he was falling into the earth.
Well, it's a movie leading up to that. Oh yeah, I was thinking the national anthem. That's at the beginning. No, yeah, that's right. So he would walk out to an open pit.
Let's watch these trailers. We just watched those trailers.
The trailers is a strong way to describe the things that we just watched.
They happened. Jack Reacher 2 just looked like a generic action movie, and Shut-In looked like a
I thought
thing.
From what Steve was describing it to me as beforehand, I thought it was going to be more thriller. It seems like more of a horror movie.
I'm going to be completely honest. The last trailer, like the commercial that I saw for that, had nothing to do with the child. Like and as far as it looked to me in the original trailer, she was taking care of her invalid child, and then like someone tries to break
invalid.
Yeah,
that should be the name of the movie.
And someone tries to break into the house, and she's trying to get away. At no point was the other child who becomes a
ghost
was ever brought up.
Oh wait, those weren't the same kid.
No.
Oh shit. I thought.
They probably will end up being.
I thought
the same
one
kid.
was.
That's probably what the twist.
I thought the one was just an older version of the other kid.
No, I don't know. Like it was really unclear why that was occurring. Like was she trying to adopt a kid because she hates her own child? Because she had a dream about murdering her child.
I mean, don't we all? And that Jack Reacher trailer was. I thought that we were watching the first Jack Reacher trailer because he was like he took out all those men.
I would imagine that's what almost the entire movie is.
Probably.
Like, oh my God, Jack Reacher, he's the best.
There's a scene in the first movie.
Good.
There's a scene in the first movie where he's like surrounded by 5 or 6 other like just dudes, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna kick your ass," and he's like, "I mean, you don't want to do this," and like, "Okay, dude." And he's just like,
"What is this? An action movie?"
And he's just like, "All right, guys," and he just takes them all out, and that's why it started with just a bunch of dudes on the floor. He's like, he took them all out with their bare hands. It's like, wait, no, this happened in the first movie. What is?
Well, of course he did. He has bare hands.
It had to happen eventually. We can't say that phrase that many times.
As goofy as it sounds, I will say the first Jack Reacher was good. Like I
think that's a common consensus for that.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly good.
Just like the first Wall Street was good,
and the second one was amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, because it built on itself.
Exactly. And then the prequel of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's all the same series, right?
To be fair, wouldn't Wolf of Wall Street just? I think that lines up pretty well with like the time frame of Wall Street.
Probably. Do we have anything more to say about these trailers? They're pretty.
I mean,
yeah, mine was disappointing, but I think this fucked up, but I think I'll get some good physical humor out of mine at least.
What the horror genre is known for? Physical comedy.
Physical comedy.
Yeah, I would say so.
with people who are crippled. Which,
Wow, dude.
I mean, that's what's in the movie.
term is shutting.
That I mean,
I was talking about my movie. I was talking about Tom Cruise.
someone like that. That kid's getting paid to just like
Sit there.
sit there.
Well, it's
for
like in
so
Fundamentals of
long.
Caring, that Paul Rudd movie. Like,
But that kid was very animated.
he was, but I
like-
mean, he also. I mean, it's not like he had cerebral.
Yes, I
palsy or
know.
whatever.
I know what I just said, and we're just going to ignore it, Charlie. He was more. None of the things that I can do to say this sound reasonable.
He had.
Lively.
he used more.
I
Emotes.
guess
he
that's
was more
accurate.
emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this kid seems to be like nigh brain dead
Yeah.
in the way the trailer describes him.
Yeah.
My God, he's nigh brain dead.
I mean, but it's like
Okay, egghead.
honestly, neither of these. It didn't seem like they tried much with either of these.
No.
Like it's. We'll find out next week.
Honestly, I could see in them writing the script for Shut In.
Hold on, you can see them actually writing a script.
No. But here's what happened. They were like, "Why would she just be alone? I think you should have like another character." And the guy was like, "I don't want to write more dialogue."
let's just put a character there. More dialogue sounds like busy work. I'm not about that.
I can only write one-sided conversations.
That's my
Perfect.
That's my specialty. If you knew that when you hired me, why would you ask me to add another character? I mean, yeah. Other than what we said about these trailers,
You're right. These trailers just seem super bland.
they were just. I mean,
Even
even
like cash grabs.
even-
Both were probably cheap to make in regards to their genre, and then they'll probably make plenty to make their money back.
Yeah.
Even the music in the Jack Reacher trailer sounded like it was just any other action movie music. Like it was. Yeah, it's gonna be
They
a.
use the same music. For
Jack
mine.
Reacher is it's kind of like a Jason Bourne movie, but he remembers.
he remembers. Yeah, Jason Bourne never remembers anything, does he?
Like no matter how much he's gotten back, there is still like, but what about your father? And he's
Yeah.
like, I was born.
Like you killed a man with a book, and he's like, well, "No, I didn't. Not me." So I guess let's just
Jason, go read a book. You read those? I thought you just fucking punched people in the face through them.
use them as a.
He just opens it up like, huh. Now
What are
what
these
do I now
squiggles?
what do I do with this?
There are words in here. Let's move on to the old stuff we actually like. We'll start out with you, Steve. Steve, what is something that you actually like? We ironically like things every week, every other week almost. We act like we like things.
I really like all my things.
So-
Tyler
no,
hates
I'm saying the movies that we are assigned.
Oh, yeah.
we have to act like we like them. What is something though that you actually like? Let's tell the listeners at home or wherever they're at. what
I'm
you
really
actually
excited for. Well, actually,
like. No repeats. Don't
okay.
say
I don't
something.
know. I wasn't gonna do a repeat. I was gonna do one that's a little bit old because I didn't use it last time. But instead, I'm gonna do something that's coming up. I'm really excited for the 4-episode crossover in the CW DC series.
Me too.
I specifically caught up on Legends of Tomorrow to watch this.
Does it start this week?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
Monday night.
Sorry, I had something in my throat. Nerd is what I
Yeah,
was.
oh, that's
trying
fine.
to say.
No, Monday it starts with Supergirl. There was.
So is she in the Arrowverse now?
I'm
No.
really confused
Because I've seen photos of like all of them together.
Well, that's for the crossover.
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
She's coming over for
because
the
there was
crossover.
also
She's
like
still
a
on
couple
her
other.
Earth, though.
Well, there was the episode spoiler for anybody who is just watching Supergirl or anything like that. But in the actual episode where the crossover episode with Flash and her in season 1, they reveal that she is in a different universe from the main storyline, because Flash jumps universes to
Oh,
talk with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not positive exactly how they're going to work that into the whole situation.
Yeah, I saw that picture and it was like her, Arrow, Flash, Black Driver.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
then,
who?
Diggle. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I don't know his actual.
They just call him Spartan now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then there were a couple other characters. Well, one of them, he wasn't dressed up like a character that. Do you know what picture I'm talking about, Charlie?
I mean, I've seen a ton of set photos, so they all kind of.
Yeah, there's
like
been a lot.
warehouse ones, rooftop ones.
It was
been
it was
tons
a
of
guy wearing
promos.
an outfit that when I saw it, I was like, oh, is that supposed to be like the Guardian? But
What does it look like?
oh,
well,
man.
Guardian is going to be in Supergirl,
But I don't.
Oh.
he wouldn't be in the. He wouldn't be.
But
in
it
the
wasn't.
crossover yet,
It
though.
wasn't. It was like I saw a comment and somebody was like, "Oh, that's so and so," and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I
maybe
wouldn't."
it's Steel.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what it was. It was
Yeah.
Steel because
Okay.
I saw a comment I was like, "Oh, Steel," blah blah. And I was like, "Whoa, that's supposed to be Steel."
No, not that Steel. It's supposed to be like Citizen Steel or whatever. His
Oh,
full
okay,
name
yeah,
is.
because I think it was
No,
even
no.
like it was like a white guy.
Come on, it wasn't Shaq.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly
Oh,
not
yeah.
Shaq. But yeah, it was like a.
Shaq in those photos with those people would be like a tower.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Well,
no matter who he
Like,
stands
they,
next to.
they've been
Exactly.
they've been calling him Steel, but they were like throwing around names, and they call him Citizen Steel, and I was like, that's a way cooler name.
Yeah,
Because his in the show, his grandfather is it Captain Steel or Sergeant
Commander Steel,
Commander
maybe?
Steel, from the JSA,
what show is he on?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And so his grandfather was Commander Steel or whatever, and he ends up getting injected with a serum that allows him to transform into steel at times. And they were coming up with nicknames, and someone says,
Wait, you mean like transform like Colossus style, like
Yeah.
transform?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
and someone says Citizen Steel because of his grandfather.
Well, I think
being
he says it because he's like, well, I was never in the military. I'm
Yeah,
just
they're
a
like-
historian, so am I just like
Citizen
Citizen
Steel.
Steel?
And I was like, that's got like a nice
Yeah.
nice flow to it, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I would imagine he'll just call him Steel. Just
But
to
that-
just because Citizen Steel is a little lengthy, I guess.
Yeah,
to say conversation.
but in the
But they've
picture-
been referring to him as Steel.
In the
since
picture,
then.
he did kind of just look like the Guardian. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he had.
I mean, he'll have the
had
full effects on probably.
He had
at
an
that time.
outfit similar to. Yeah, he wasn't in steel mode, and
Yeah.
he had an outfit where I was like, the only person I could imagine him being is like the Guardian. Which there's been so many people in the
that's
comics
right.
who have been the Guardian.
Then they're finally having Guardian on Supergirl, and there are pictures of the suit. And then they went full silver with it. It's like, damn, if you're gonna do it, do the gold.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
wait, what? They
actually
went full
do the
silver?
gold. Well, it's like it's kind of like gray.
That's weird.
I actually completely spaced in the
Yeah.
last episode of Legends of Tomorrow. They like in some old western town, they find an entire mine full of dwarf star alloy, and so Ray like builds him a suit because whenever he goes steel, his like clothes don't fit
So
very well
you said
anymore.
you've watched season 2 of Legend of Tomorrow. Is Ray still just insufferable? And
Oh my
annoying?
god! Yeah, well,
I like Ray,
I like Ray
but
too.
he is a fuck up.
There's an episode where
He's like the male Felicity.
Well,
to
he-
me,
he
he
gets-
just talks fast and is a nerd. Like
That's fine by me, and I was fine with Felicity too until she became a love interest. And his love interest with the Hawk was fucking terrible.
that was
Yes.
so
So-
bad.
Yep. That's probably
and
why
that's
I
gone,
dislike
so-
him so much. Is because
No.
in season 1 of Legend of Tomorrow, I was like, okay, this is annoying as fuck. Like,
and it
we
makes
know,
no sense.
You'd be correct.
But there's an episode where he wants like honestly, I could see that show being renamed Ray loses the Atom suit to someone else.
And he says it's only fit for his body,
Yeah.
but anybody else can wear it.
It's like the Iron Man movies where somebody else would just be like, I'm in the Iron Man suit now. You remember how you made this specifically for
Yeah.
you?
Like-
Well,
like-
look at me.
But like every
Yes, you didn't.
but like every other
I
episode,
forgot again.
Ray gets knocked out, and they're just like
Yeah.
examining the suit. That's like every episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
I always thought it was funny in the first season when they would just be like, all right, we got to go break Ray out of jail. And they're like, well, what do you got? And they just like show a little tiny, like an action figure size
do
Atom
like that
suit.
they
And they're
can-
like, we're prepared.
I do
Don't
like-
worry.
I do kind of like that thing because it's clearly like a keychain toy.
No, yeah, exactly. It did not look like props tried at
Which
all.
I guess, I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do for something that small? You know.
It's always just funny. They'd
You
be like,
call up those guys that paint D&D
Yeah.
miniatures.
They'd be-
That shit will be legit.
and they just
It'll
be
be
like,
fully functional.
they would just
Yeah.
they would just be like Ray, and then throw it. Oh, this thing.
They need to have it where then it goes down a sewer grate. It's like, oh fuck. Hey, that show
And then it's
CGI
like
this year though looks pretty fucking good for a good chunk.
It
of
does,
I
but
think.
I'm just imagining like Ray with like some gum on a string, like dragging it. Like, guys, I'll be there in a second.
Hold on. I just. And then it goes huge when he hits it, and so does the gum.
Charlie, what is something that you actually like? We went on a CW, just tangent there for a while.
I am looking forward to that.
I was kind
Is
of
that
afraid
this
that
coming
would
week?
steal
I might watch that. I haven't watched.
Yeah,
I haven't been
it's-
watching the Flash. The Flash is really the only one I've been caring about, but I've kind of just been waiting till Netflix.
If
Oh,
you
I'm
haven't
intrigued by
been
some
watching
shit.
The Flash, you've been missing a lot.
But no, it's not like I mean I'm
kid.
sure I'm not saying
Arrow's
it's not.
fucking good again,
I'm not
which I
saying
never
it's.
thought
I'm
I'd
not saying
fucking
the Flash
say.
isn't good.
No.
It's just one of those where I don't. I no longer care enough to be like I have to watch this week to week.
I'm just saying, if you
And-
try to watch this special event, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, what is happening?"
Yeah, I
right
mean,
now?
in the past crossovers, they've never really dealt with what's been going on, and if this
There
is
are
a
some-
4-series crossover,
there are some things that are directly affecting the people of the Flash, like the main group of the Flash, that will
Yeah.
come. That it's impossible for it to not come.
I'm talking about Cisco being pissed off that Barry didn't save his brother.
That was good.
Nope.
That was like over.
Not even a
one or
little
two
bit about
episodes.
that. No, he did really get over that real quick, by the way.
Okay, good. Bear's a dick, though. All in all, because it's like, why didn't you save
He
my
doesn't
brother?
try.
It's,
No, seriously,
I told you I can't rewrite history, but you literally do it all the time, Barry. And he's like, no, but I can't. He's like, well, fuck you. And Barry's like, man, I gotta rewrite history in order to make it so Cisco's not mad at me
Yeah,
anymore.
stopped for a while.
When I was watching that episode, I sent a text to my friends who also like watch that, like keep up with it with me, and I was just like, Barry Allen should write a book called How to Fuck Up Everything by Barry Allen, co-written by another Barry Allen that came back in time specifically to fuck this up more.
There's that one meme where it's just like a picture of Barry. It's like, that timeline looks pretty good. Better go fuck it up. But I remember watching that specific episode where he just started running back in time and it's like, what is your plan
That
this
really-
time?
that-
What are you going to
Dude,
change?
seriously, if you keep watching, he has yet to do it again. They really have
Well,
made it a point.
since
to
well,
Jake Garrick
well, that's what I was
body
gonna say.
checked him
Yeah.
out of the
That's-
speed
that's
force.
what I
I
was
think
gonna
you're
say.
supposed to feel like that, though. At least you know, as a viewer, because everybody in the show is like that too. Like, quit.
That's
Like literally nothing good.
That's
is
what I was
happening.
gonna say. He's running in the past. I'm like, okay, Barry, what is your plan this time? And then Jay
least it
Garrick just
seems
pulls him. I was like,
intentional.
okay, no, Barry, what are you doing?
So it seems intentional. At least. I'm all right.
And Barry's like, no, I got to. It's like, no. What are you doing? All right, Charlie.
Yeah, so sorry for re-hijacking that.
That's fine.
What is that? Gave you time to think about what you actually.
No, it didn't.
You know, what Charlie really likes is Thanksgiving food.
I do.
Is stuffing.
I do.
Sorry.
This is the Thanksgiving episode. Did we mention that?
Gobble gobble.
You'll listen to it anytime you want because it's a podcast. But
But you should be listening to it the
the
day it
day
comes
it
out
releases, no other time.
at midnight when it comes online.
That's really bad for the overseas listeners who
Oh,
are
no.
a day ahead of us.
And also don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Probably not. Charlie, you think of anything yet? Have we stalled long enough?
I'm still listening to that. I don't know. You go.
I go. What? You always. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll go. I'll change up the format here.
The only way this could be better is if Ty was like, still just had not come up with anything.
I was like, no, you
No,
go. I was going to say, this morning I watched a movie I saw on HBO. Is called Steve Jobs.
which one?
It's the one called Steve Jobs with
Dude, I can't-
Still, come on. Which one is it?
Fassbender or
Fast,
Kutcher?
Fassbender.
Okay.
Aaron Sorkin, Danny Boyle. Written by Sorkin, directed by Danny Boyle. This is the one that, unlike, I've never seen the Ashton Kutcher one, which I think is more of a like chronicle of Jobs' life, whereas this one it follows the Jobs before 3 product launches. So it starts with in the 80s before the Macintosh launch, the Lisa, where it's like, hello, it says, and it's before that presentation. And then right before that presentation starts, fast forwards to when after he gets fired from Apple and he does the Next computer.
Okay.
And he's doing the presentation for the Next. And it's like build up before that. And then you kind of learn backstory about like, okay, what happened with him and Apple, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And then right before that starts, fast forward to the before the launch of the iMac.
Okay.
And it's before the presentation of that. And it's very interesting in the fact that it's not sugar-coated. I mean, Steve Jobs is not portrayed in a positive light throughout the movie. He is, especially the younger Jobs in the earlier film.
He's a jerk.
Oh, he is a total dickhead, just totally denying the fact that this one girl is his daughter. And they're like, and the daughter, because the daughter's name is Lisa. And she comes in and she's like, oh, you named the computer after me, like 5 years old. And he goes, no, it's a coincidence.
But wait, so the girl was 5 years old at the time?
Yeah. Like comes in with the mom.
And she's like, and the daughter,
honest.
and the daughter's being snappy like this, or the mom is?
No, the mom like brings in the daughter, and the daughter's like, oh, like I was told that you named like you named the computer after me. And Steve Jobs was like, no, it's just what a coincidence is. Because that's what this is.
He just condescendingly talks to his 5-year-old
she's
daughter.
like, I don't know it. And he's like, well, it's called like Lisa stands for logical integrative something. And he like
You little
says
dumb piece of shit.
And she's like,
and then he kicks her.
You're no kid of mine.
and he's like, no, he's like, you're not my child. I'm not your dad.
See?
And he even like had in a Time interview where he
My
was
mind
like,
is just
he
like
was like
Steve
this algorithm that I made shows that 28% of the American population, male population, could be the father of this child. And the mother's like, you said 28% of men could have been I slept with 28% of the men, and he's like, that's not what I meant. She's like, no, that's almost exactly what you said. And he's like, no, my algorithm. And she's like, no, fuck you.
Wow. I would like to point out that Charlie, you're like, yeah, I'm just like Steve Jobs. Like you were intentionally being as big of a dick as you possibly could think of. Like you thinking the worst possible thing you could say to this child is just what Steve Jobs says to children.
The only thing with movies like that, I always wonder how much of that stuff
no,
is real and how much is.
I'm sure a lot of it. I think that Sorkin is the kind of guy.
Just like Straight Outta Compton, 100% truth.
Exactly. No,
with nothing left out.
I think Aaron Sorkin's the kind of guy that if he's gonna write something, he's gonna research it, but he's still going to Sorkinize.
Put words in people's mouths.
This is the guy that West Wing, Newsroom. Like he's a well-renowned writer. I mean, there's a lot of hallway walking and talking in this movie. Even
I'm sure that's fuck done.
but I think he's also the kind of writer that will do his research. I think he probably talked to Wozniak. He probably talked to all
Lisa.
These
He talked to this girl.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he talked to Lisa and said, "Hey, what do you remember about
in
this?"
Between her sobs,
totally
she was
nice
able.
and
In between her sobs, she was able to relay the story.
Yeah, I think that he did his research, but then in just like any based on true events movie, there's going to be
some exaggeration.
I mean, these people are not that witty. Like they're not as quippy as however anybody writes them. But it's still very.
I'm gonna write a movie where everyone is completely real, and it will be just the most
going on
generic script ever.
It's like,
well, it's called
fuck
Triple
you.
X.
Yeah, well, fuck you. And then he gets on an elevator. And he's like, damn it, I should have said this.
There's like shots of him in like the shower, like practicing conversations.
If only I would have said this. But no, it was very interesting. It showed because him and Jeffrey, what's the guy that's in all the Aaron Sorkin shit, and he was Dumb and Dumber.
Jeff Bridges.
No, not Bridges. The guy who
Daniels.
Daniels, yeah. He plays the CEO of Apple, who like kind of he got strong. Like essentially, Jobs got fired from Apple or whatever, and he's like, why did you tell everybody I fired you? And he's like, because you did. But then it shows like all this other stuff. He's like, no, essentially Jobs strong-armed him into being like, okay, if you guys don't get rid of him, I leave. And Jeff Daniels was like, yeah, no, I'll put in my resignation, but we lost all this money off of Lisa, so you guys make your decision. And the whole board voted against Jobs, and he's like, it wasn't you were the one that fucking strong armed me and made me like, but it was very interesting to see these dynamics as, real or not real as they may have been. I'm sure truth was stretched and all that. There were great performances from Fassbender, and I think Kate Winslet was Steve Jobs'
X.
No, not ex, like assistant.
Oh.
She plays a Hispanic woman.
Yeah, exactly. No, does she really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I would.
Wow.
I did not know that. They don't. They never say her last name. I guess but she plays the character that's essentially like, okay, Steve, fuck you. Like, I'm the only. At one point in the movie, she's like, did you know that there were people?
I thought you were telling me to fuck.
No. She's. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, we're talking about Steve Jobs.
She was like, you know that there are people that worked for you that they had an award for every year who would stand up for you to you. And he was like, no, I didn't know that. And she's like, I won that 3 years in a row. And he's like, okay, good for you. Like, I don't care.
And then she had all those awards taken away from her.
Yeah.
So in Steve Jobs 2, they're gonna get together like an Iron Man.
Exactly. But well, I mean, she does force him to do stuff. She's like, hey, I love you.
Stuff?
I love you. Like, whatever. But not like a relationship. Like, just as how close they are. There is a really nice.
I'm not that big of a child.
There is a really nice moment at the end, with him and Lisa, where he tries to reconcile with their relationship. And I guess I'm getting more sentimental in my older age, but I kind of like choked up a little bit. He was just like,
all those children you've left
You're
behind.
my favorite,
yeah, exactly.
You're my favorite
All those-
computer.
Well, no, she's kind of like just like, fuck you, Dad. You haven't done anything for me. Like, well, you're an asshole. And he comes up to her and he's just like, no, come on, stay. Like, that computer I did, Lisa. And she's like, yeah, it stood for this. Like, you fucking told me that when I was 5 years old. I'm 19. And he's like, no, I named it after you. And she's like, well, why did you say that? And he's like,
well, who should I believe, you or you?
Yeah, and she was like, well, why the fuck did you say that? And he's like, I don't know. Like, why else would I name it Lisa? Honestly, he's like, that acronym means nothing. Like, it makes no sense. Why would I?
Well, I was 5, so how was I supposed to know, you fucking asshole?
and it was kind of cheesy, but kind of sweet at the same time. Where she always had a Walkman, like, with her and listening to certain songs, and she's like walking away, and he just goes, I'm gonna.
And he broke her legs.
No, he goes, I'm gonna put 500 songs in your pocket, and she's like, what? And he's like, I'm gonna put 1,000 songs, like 2,000 songs in your pocket. She's like, what? He's like, well, I mean, or somewhere between 500 and 2,000. You'll be able to. I hate that Walkman. You're gonna be carrying something that has all those songs, which was like cheesy. It was kind of funny, but I don't know. Like, if it were,
She was first in line. I would say she was first in line to buy a Zune.
Exactly. If it were
Fuck you, Dad.
if it were any other actor besides Michael Fassbender delivering that kind of line, and if it wasn't written by Sorkin or directed by Danny Boyle, I think Danny Boyle's a great director. He does stuff where, I mean,
what else does he do?
Slumdog Millionaire, 28 Days Later, not Transformers. Yeah, Transformers. What's the one where they're all doing drugs? It's got Ewan McGregor. Trainspotting. Yeah. He like integrates all weird.
Transformers Trainspotting. Close enough.
They're
like
exactly
all weird,
the same.
all weird imagery and like surrealist stuff, which I think is kind of cool.
I'm bad at knowing directors, but I usually know, like, when someone tells me a director and they say what they've done, I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with all of these things.
The one main thing I would complain about the whole film was that the first set, which was the Lisa, the Macintosh Lisa, I was waiting for a while. Like, it kind of just felt like the movie began. And you know how there's sometimes it feels like there's going to be a cold open, and then it's going to be like Steve Jobs and it, like, title, card. And especially with the way somebody like Sorkin writes, everybody's just fast talking, quips, like, stuff's going quick.
And you feel
and
like
so
you
you're
have
like,
to be a stenographer to keep up.
Well, and you're like, oh, okay, like, things are going fast. This movie's just gearing up to begin. And that's when I felt like for the first like half hour, I was like, this movie's gearing up to begin. And then I paused the movie. It's like, oh shit, this has been 32 minutes of talking. This movie began. But I would recommend checking it out, especially if you've got HBO. It was on HBO. I mean, it's like 2 hours long, but it was a quick 2 hours.
It's always
was
nice when
interesting.
when a movie that's longer, like you don't notice how long you're, like because there are some movies that even movies that I like, there are movies that go on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And around like the hour and a half mark, I just find myself checking my phone just to see how long I've been in there.
Yeah.
And there are some movies that I don't do that with.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that's just the mark of a movie that kind of really pulls you in.
There were great performances, and I wish that it would have gone to the iPhone. At
I'm kind of
least,
surprised it did.
like, I mean,
I was expecting
liked,
that was going to be the last one that you
I
were
like
gonna
the
say.
oh, and Seth Rogen. I didn't mention him. He
Yeah.
did I want him to be in more serious roles because he did a great job as Steve Wozniak. Like he never did anything like
No,
that.
I know.
Which
That's
which
what
is
I'm saying
shocking. Like
is annoying.
he did a lot of stuff where it was just like, I mean,
Played a normal fucking human.
Steve Jobs would be a dickhead to him, and Steve Jobs would be like, "Oh no, it's okay, you get a pass," and Seth Rogen would be like, "Do you realize how degrading that is? You said I get the pass. You're a fucking asshole all the time, and I'm the one who gets a pass. Like, fuck you."
Were there any scenes of Steve Wozniak playing Tetris on Game Boy a whole bunch?
That's all he ever did. He was just walking around playing Tetris on Game Boy, and he's like, "Fuck you, Jobs."
I really want you to be telling the truth, but I know you're not.
No, the whole
It's
movie.
the after credits.
The whole movie was Wozniak trying to get Jobs to acknowledge the Apple II team, and Jobs was like, "I'm not doing that," and he's like, "No, the Apple II sold more than any other Apple product ever. Just say that." And he's like, "No, I'm not announcing the Apple II, so I'm not going to acknowledge the Apple II team." He's like, "Fuck you, dude."
I love my Apple II.
Dude, I played Marathon on my Apple II. That game was dope. But that was
So
before
much-
I didn't have one.
that was before
So
Matt.
much Oregon Trail.
That was before Apple did the whole end-to-end closed, and you could actually open up the system and change things to the computer without special tools. Anyway, Charlie, we've stalled for long enough. Have you thought of something?
That's not stalling. That was your answer. I don't really.
I had
have
completely
anything that
forgotten
sticks
that
out
shit.
more than just. I guess I'm excited for Star Wars, and that's really sneaking up on us. How far away is that? Like 2 weeks or something?
I mean, it's before.
It's December
the-
16th.
Oh, is
yeah.
it?
So it's
like
it's less than a month.
yeah.
That's
I just saw a trailer for it today, and I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm like super pumped for it, but I'm definitely excited to go to the theater. And
It's
see
one
it.
of those movies that it's kind of a weird thing because you in essence kind of know how it ends.
Yeah, I mean,
It better end with all them dying.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
gonna be bullshit. They're
like-
all gonna survive and be like, no,
Yeah.
we just gotta be
I've gotten
refugees. or
I've gotten
something.
less
Fuck
I've
that.
gotten less excited for it the closer it's gotten. The more stuff I see of it, I'm like, oh man. Like the last trailer where he's like, they need a call sign. What do we go by? Rogue One.
that one that doesn't bother
They
me.
call us some kind of suicide
the part in the
squad.
trailer. The part in the trailer. The part in the trailer that bothers me is when she's like, "Oh, hope, hope, hope." I'm tired of getting beat in the fucking head over any any fictional story of just
Destiny.
hope. Oh, but it's hope. All we need is hope, 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 hope.
Well,
hope,
and you know
hope.
she's gonna
It's
be
like,
connected
Jesus
to
Christ.
she's gonna be connected to like Rey and all that. Like, there's gonna be some Destiny shit in there where I would like for there to be just
we're gonna tie it all together with midichlorians.
yeah. I mean, as much as I love Star Wars and the whole thing, I would like for it to just be, oh, this shit just happened. Like, there's no destiny. There's no whatever.
Like
there's
these
no
were these were people that were down in the trenches getting dirty,
Yeah.
trying to do it, and it didn't work this time. Let's hope it works next time.
And if they do it,
Well, they
some
got
type
what they needed to get done, but then they also
if they
all
do
got
if they do some
murked.
type of sequel where they do it
hopefully
for the
they're all
second Death
dogs, so
Star,
then they can go to heaven.
if they if they do some type of sequel where it's the second Death Star, it'd be funny if they just all get murdered by the Emperor. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you fell right into my trap. And he just jokes all of them.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's,
I would watch the crap out of that movie.
Rogue
They
2.
could show the last.
but they
scene.
need a call sign. What do they call us? Rogue
Dead?
2.
There's yet to be another ship trying to enter the base.
The trailer
Since
could
we
just
did
be,
last time.
The trailer could just be a scene of the Emperor just force choking everybody, and then them all falling to the ground dead. And I'd be like, "Yo, let's go see what happens before that."
I am cool. I'm interested to see. Well, I like Gareth Edwards. He did the Godzilla. I like that.
Oh yeah, did you guys watch that Kong trailer?
Yeah, it
He's
was.
fucking
I haven't
huge.
Well, but it was. It was. It,
I mean,
it was
he is
really.
King Kong.
Well, we might
The
watch
weird
it
tones in
afterwards.
it?
Then, yeah, it was weird tones compared to the first trailer. It was. Did you see the first teaser trailer?
I don't watch trailers unless they are shown to me, usually at a theater.
Dude,
Yeah,
it does
we
get me
might-
excited for Godzilla vs Kong though, because
Yeah,
now
that'll
it
be
will
fun.
be a fight. Because this fucking
We might
King
show
Kong
you.
is
We might show you both.
humongous.
We might show you both those trailers after we get off, just to be because it's. I mean, not saying they're bad. It's just very tonally different, and I mean, I'm interested to see how it goes. But yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla. I can't wait for a full on just CG.
It's gonna be a disaster movie.
2018.
It's going to be disaster movie
It's ooh,
and epic movie rolled all into one.
with not another teen movie.
Like-
Chris Evans starring.
That one's good though.
No, not another
it's
teen
true.
movie's fantastic.
Yes.
Actually,
It's
you
Epic,
like
such
that
movie,
movie?
epic movie and disaster movie are not.
They are definitely not.
That's
I've
an-
seen
that's
both
an
of
understatement.
them, and it's
I saw-
and don't forget superhero movies.
I saw
Ah,
Epic
yes.
movie. I saw Epic movie in theaters.
I did
What the
too.
fuck's wrong
It
with
was so. I went to see Epic movie in theaters because my friends were like, "Let's go see Epic movie," and I was like,
We're no longer friends.
Also, we forgot Date movie.
I don't think we forgot
Forgot
it. I just
I
didn't
mean,
think
I
we wanted
think-
to mention it.
I mean, no, we
And
We
it
didn't
all
forget
comes
it.
back to movie 43.
The greatest movie of all time, where every single little sketch you're like, man, I wonder what contract they signed where they had to do
that they
this.
could
bit."
not get out of.
Where Chris Pratt is just shitting everywhere. And Hugh Jackman has a dick on his face.
Does that happen? Are these things
Yes.
that occur?
Yes, we
Yes.
We tried to watch some of that movie.
We
and
watched part of it.
We had to turn it off after maybe 3 sketches.
Yeah.
It was awful. That being said,
All right then.
check us out on the Facebook page, Movie Versus Podcast. We're the same thing on Twitter and Gmail if you want to send us an email suggesting anything you want us to watch. If you have a comment, whatever. We had some corrections on stuff about Blade Runner. Apparently, we mentioned Blade Runner last episode.
Well, because didn't Ridley
don't-
Scott?
I
direct
can't
a
remember
movie?
who the 2 directors were that we were talking about. Ridley Scott.
Ridley
was one of
Scott
them,
did
and then-
Legend, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember. But apparently we did. We got some corrections and
No, I think
clarifications.
Charlie just jokingly said something, or someone jokingly said something about Blade Runner.
We got some corrections and clarifications about Blade Runner by Ian on the Facebook page. If you want to see those about the last episode, go check that out on
and
the Facebook page.
I didn't mention it on the Facebook or anything, but I did finally find out what Krull was, and it was the planet that they were on. But I do not they may have said it, but I do not remember it at all.
And that's why you lost, dude.
That's it.
And
I
I lost. I lost because Tim Curry is a god.
If you want all the info, you have to read the novelizations of
Yeah,
every
why-
movie that you see.
It's like you don't even care about the podcast, dude.
I try so hard,
And got so far, but in the
but in the
end.
end, it doesn't really matter.
Jizz box.
And that being said, bye.
Movie Versus is a production of 3 Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.